Hey, you there. Thank you for watching, and welcome to Forge Lines Forever. Today, I have a 5v5 custom match here on the most amazing Roxas map generator. So let's go ahead and introduce our teams and our players. Starting off with Team 1 in the west, ending with Team 2 in the east. Starting off with Team 1's northern player. They're working our way southward. We have in forest green Team 1's Eco Nuke. He is a UEF for this match as a 2300, the highest rated player on Team 1 and in the game. Overall, to his southwest, next door to him is the Light Oak Tan player of Dimitri 11. He is an Aeon as a 2100. In the middle of Team 1's lineup in Pac-Man Yellow is RNA. He is a Cybran. He is a 1600. And next door to him, another Cybran for Team 1. It is Chicken. He is in Orange Color Orange as an 1800. And last but not least, in Ruby Red on the southern side of the map, it is Pepe's as a Seraphim. He is a 1300. So for Team 1 side of the map, they have one of each of the faction at a minimum with 2 Cybrans. Starting off with Team 2's northern player, they're working their way southward. We have in lightish red pink, Alchemical. He is a UEF for this match as a 1200. In Stitch Blue to his southeast is Nasimka. He is a 1900 playing as a Cybran for this match. In the middle of Team 2's lineup, we have Vindex. He is a Seraphim. He is an 1800. Again, he is in Snow White. In Chevy Crimson to his southeast is Luker. He is an Aeon for this match as a 2000 rated player. And on the southern tip of Team 2's lineup as a UEF, it is Battlefront. He is in Rust. He is a 2100. He is the highest rated player on Team 2. And I will say this, of course, the original Battlefront 2 were the best. Granted, the new ones weren't super bad. They weren't the best, of course, but I think 2 is definitely better than the first one, but you still really can't beat the OG Battlefront 2. Such a good game. Anyways, for these 10 players on the map here, let's take a look at how much reclaim they have to scoop up. Currently sitting at 39,000 mass in reclaim, which means it is 3.9k mass per player to scoop up. And of course, before I forget, Team 2's lineup, they have one of each of the faction as well, but they have 2 UEF instead of 2 Cybrans. So that is the only difference between the two teams, is one team has 1 additional Cybran, one team has an additional UEF. And in terms of the mexes on the map, there is a decent amount in the middle, but I want to draw attention to the corners of the map where there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mexes just grouped together. Obviously, another one right next to that. That is a 6-star mex position in the southeast for Team 2 and another 6-star in the northeast with a couple of mexes flanking that. So huge amounts of mass for these corner players to grab. We do see, of course, quad mex positions in the kind of mid-ish range. And then a bunch of one-offs kind of dotted between the middle and there. A lot of contention going to happen around the middle of the map. Unfortunately, for these players, they have to traverse a central mountain. Maybe it's a dead volcano or a dormant volcano, who knows. But it's going to be a little bit more of a challenge. Not too bad, though. It's not that much of the map taken up by it. And, of course, there is some water that the players can use for Navy. Realistically, it's just Southern Navy will be able to hit this space and maybe kind of tick off a couple of stuff in this space to use Team 2 as an example. And then, again, the reverse for Team 1. So we'll see if Navy plays a huge role. I don't think it will, but at a bare minimum, anybody next to the water should just be producing cruisers at a minimum, especially if they're UEF and Seraphim, because why not have free tac missiles for eternity? Why not have that? We do see a couple of scouts inbound from both sides of the map. And, of course, they're going for the reclaim in the middle as well. Dimitri 11 already getting a couple of mexes. And, of course, going for all of these crystalline structures. I really like these new, I don't know, environmental tools or environmental framing. I don't even know what you would call this. Dark sand or black sand or whatever you want to call it. I do kind of like the color scheme it gives. It actually makes it very easy to spot the mexes. So that is kind of a nice thing to look at. And in the Combi-Com action, it's looking like Team 1's not sending out Eco Noob in the north. He's just spamming out Team 1 units. He may be trying to go for T2 land very early. Is a possibility, or just wants to spam so much he doesn't have to send his comm forward. At least 2 players from Team 2 to the north. Looks like a 3v1 happening in the middle around this nice little rock formation. And then, of course, 1v1 in the south. But we do see that Luca's moving into assist, so it's probably going to be more like a 3v2. But Team 2 is severely outnumbered in that regard. So we'll see if anybody from the northern side comes into assist on that front. Couple of spam units, of course, now getting into the engineering situations here for Alchemical. There's a striker moving in to interrupt Alchemical's T1 land spam efforts. We do see a nice little scout, nice little snoop, just being annoying. Again, engineer will be taken offline eventually. It's funny that we see just these two engineers just repairing one another. And they're just going to keep each other alive. Well, they were repairing one another and then they stopped. But essentially the snoop wasn't doing a lot of damage anyways. That snoop is now taken offline. Team 1's Eco Noob continuing to just isolate Team 2's Northern Navy. I don't know if that's on purpose or accident or both, but definitely wants to avoid any sort of cruiser missile spam, at least from Team 2, because it is a UEF versus a UEF in this scenario. And I will point out, it is a 2300 in this slot versus a 1200 in this slot, so we should, based on rating, see a little bit of a sway in favor of Team 1 on that side. And the reverse is true in the south. It is a 2100 versus a 1300, and I did it the wrong way. I was supposed to do positive, not negative, in terms of the speed. But it looks like it's a little bit more even in that regard for now. Naval facilities online for both sides of the map down there. And Peppers has started his T2 upgrade. I did see a gun upgrade started for Alchemical as well. And we do see Nasimka pushing northward to assist with the annoyance that is Eco Noob's units. We do see that he has moved in to assist as well. So it is going to be a 2v1. And the comms in the middle from Team 1 have split. It's a 1v1 on the northern side and a 2v1 on the southern side. T2 has also been started for Battlefront. So it's just going to be probably fire-based wars at some point between these two players. We do see that Team 1's naval facility will most likely be knocked out. I don't see it being saved anytime soon. Definitely unfortunate for Pepe's, but he's probably more focused on the land situation. Range has been started for Luke. I'm going to probably go for a speed next. Damage range started for Eco Noob in the north. And Simka is still wrapping up or reclaiming the rest of those little crystalline rocks, whatever the heck they're called. T2 land, T2 land. No T2 air. T2 air online here for Team 1's Chicken, and it looks like it's the only T2 air facility. We do see that in the Simka's in the air as well for Team 2. So it is a 1v1 in that regard, with I don't see any upgrades as of yet for Luca. He could go for air. He could go for land. It just, again, it depends how much pressure Team 1 puts on the land. He will probably go to land if it's a little bit more worse for him in this situation. If not, he might switch to air. But it just depends on how these players feel in the moment. A couple of interceptors just hanging out. Definitely would not suggest putting them there. I had to think of the words for a second. And we do see, of course, Chicken is on the front lines. And I think this might actually be, if I'm not mistaken, the first comm-on-comm action. We've seen a little bit of damage to the comms themselves, but I don't think we've seen any comm-on-comm action. Speed and range has been started for Vindex. Range has been started for Dimitri. Tactical missile has been started for Pepe's. And it is a UEF versus a Seraphim affair down in the south. So both of them have missiles on board, but one can build Billy Nukes, one cannot. Luca with that gun speed / range upgrades on board, able to outrange Chicken's commander. Chicken is suffering quite heavily here in this regard. He's dropped pretty close to the red. He might actually fall into it here shortly. Ooh, just barely misses that red zone, but we do see lots of forces now coming in from Battlefront to assist. It doesn't look like they're going to commit entirely, and everything transferred over to Luca. Love that gameplay here from Battlefront. He's like, you're standing right in front of my units. I might as well just give them to you so you can micro them a lot better. Love to see that out of these players. In the north, repair has been started on board of Eco Noob's commander. He has gun on board, and Dimitri 11 has speed and range, or speed / range on board. Gun speed and range has been started for Nasimka. Maybe he'll go for stealth. Maybe he'll go for T2. He already has a T2 but engineer inbound. So probably not. We do see Dimitri trying to deal with a couple of these Team 1 emplacements, which has now been dealt with. But now Nano's coming online for Vindex after the gun upgrade has been finished. Team 2's Luca continues to assault this position, has now driven Chicken back to his main base. RNA going for a gun upgrade, has a nice little T2 emplacement online. That's going to help a tremendous amount dealing with the T1 units, but once T2 comes online, not really going to do a whole lot unless they are pretty weak T2 units. Luca now shifting southward, going after Pepe's position. Pepe is going to move into assist. But again, he has T2 and missiles, so nothing direct in terms of damage. A little bit more HP on board, but nothing too crazy in the offensive capabilities. And now we see that the forces are actually shifting south, with Team 2 getting a lot of breathing room down here. There is a decent amount of Yenzine down here, and cruiser missile spam is starting to come online for Team 2 in the south from Battlefront, so that is starting to play a little bit into Team 1's defenses. And this attack is going to just continue to push. We do see that Luker doesn't go with his main group of forces. He actually goes a different direction. He's done that twice now. He sends his main force one way, sends his comm the other way, so he doesn't get overrun in any situation. Love that tactic, though. It's kind of a nice hit and fade, but it's a hit, fade, and hit again, but with two different hits. Anyway, in the north, Eco Noob trying to push back Alchemical. He has shield on board, T2 and gun. Actually, and that's not even just a shield. That is a bubble shield. Rarely see this upgrade be built, at least on the commander. On SACUs it's built a decent amount, but not on the commander itself. It's not as tanky in terms of hit points. It does provide some survivability to units nearby, but I prefer the personal shield of, I think it's 19,000 hit points. So again, 5,000 versus 19. Those 14,000 hit points are very attractive. T2 units are now stopping the advance of these T1s from Luker, but they might still get a Mex. Ooh, no, they don't. 270 hit points remain. You can see that quad Mex is down. Another Mex is down. Team 1's Eco is not super taken out by that. Team 1 still has the lead in that regard, but it's only a smaller margin than what it once was. Probably about 10 to 15 or so now versus the probably 30 it was earlier. Comm on comm action. It is a Cybran. It is a Seraphim. It is an Aeon, and it is a UEF. All four factions represented. 2 on one team, 2 on the other team. Everybody is present. Everybody is just having some fun here. Alchemical pushes in. It is a 3v2 advantage in favor of Team 2. A couple of Mongis push in. At least that's what I thought I saw over there, and they may have just got wiped out. Eco Noob sends a nice little Parashield to assist his commander, but Overcharge takes out the unit as well. And Eco Noob is again going to be forced back just due to the raw power and numbers of Team 2 in the unit count, in the ACU count, I should say, not necessarily the unit count. Again, it's a nano and gun, a gun, and a gun shield, bubble shield, and T2 upgrade. So again, lots of firepower in this mix. 1 for defense, a lot more for offense. No stealth on board for Nasimka. Very strange not to see it, but he probably wanted to push him with his other teammates, so I don't blame him for skipping out on the upgrade. Team 1 is advancing a decent amount in the middle, however, with a couple of fire beetles just waiting to be given orders. We'll see if those actually come into play. There's actually more over there as well. There's actually even more. There's a lot of them, actually, surprisingly enough. There are 17 of them. That might be an attempt to snipe the commander of Luker. Team 2... No, they can see him when they're on vision with these air scouts overhead. Oh, maybe it's just because... No, yeah, it's just a brief moment. I don't see any Omnis online for Team 2, so no way to definitively see. But those fire beetles are inbound. Luker is in retreat. Overcharge takes out a couple of them. I think he sees them. He kind of sees some radar. Oh, he gets vision on one of them due to the Omni range on board the comm. And that comm is not... they're starting to get closer and closer, but I think he gets close enough to the other units and PD to help. Definitely was not looking good. Had he not had that PD and a couple of T3 units nearby, he probably would be dead from those fire beetles. Love to see them used. They are not as effective, I think, as they once were a long time ago. I think they've been nerfed, I don't know, ages ago. Again, probably before my time of casting at least. But it is a joy to see them once in a while. Those rare units that no one really uses, but there usually is a use for them in one degree or another. Nice try from Luker. Nice little taunt there. A couple of cruisers over here. Of course, there is some TMD now, which is going to deter most of those missiles. It's not really a concern for Team 1 as of right now, but of course the cruiser spam is all too devastating if it gets to critical amounts of missiles. We do see in the north still Team 2 is pushing in, but again, the downside is the further they push in on the northern side alone, Team 1's front position right here could easily come in and hook around and isolate whatever is here and essentially just do a pronged attack and just suffocate to death. There are some sniper bots online here for Dimitri, which will slowly push away these two commanders. Looks like Alchemical repping up his shield because it's now down and has to recharge. 15 minutes on the clock here. Eco situation now favors Team 2, and that's partly due to more mexes being taken offline and more up here as well. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4 mexes taken offline. Looks like it was either a... Yep, it was a strat bomber. Look at that. Taking out 10,000 mass. Bomber will be taken out, unfortunately, but it's in friendly territory. No big issue. Probably would have actually flown a little bit further to base, so that way it would actually be closer to reclaim. But again, it's on Team 2's territory, so no real issues there. Naval facility immediately upgrading to T2 Navy, most likely for cruisers to protect against any sort of bombing runs in the future. T3 artillery online for Eco Noob going after Alchemical. Alchemical, those hit points on board that shield, not feeling too good. Ooh, that was a nice shot. Doesn't take a lot of hit points out, but again, the constant bombardment is really forcing Team 2 back. And of course, with the Aeon Sniper Commander of Dimitri, he doesn't have the shield heavy on board, but he has at least the primary shield, and he does have a couple of sniper bots to back him up. So Team 2 is going to be forced to retreat. Love the counter there, but again, the stuff that was really taken out was temporary for Team 2. The stuff that was taken out for Team 1 was more permanent. So it's just kind of a unfortunate situation, but they did get it back though, so that's better than nothing. In the south, still cruiser missile spam is online. Lots of Yenzine, and I hope that I see the T3 Naval Headquarters Neptune class battlecruiser, so that he can deal with all of those all of those Yenzine. There's only a couple of destroyers here, not a whole lot. Those Yenzine can wipe this group of naval units out very, very easily. They could have easily engaged, but there are a couple of Riptides to assist. Not as many as I would have liked to see, but we maybe will see some artillery coming online here for Team 1 instead. Couple of engineers coming online. I'm surprised to not even see T2 stationary artillery just to deter the shots from the Navy, but maybe they're focused on other endeavors. It does look like the defenses are starting to break. There's so many missiles inbound. The Team D is being whittled away. There's more shields, more defenses coming online, but I don't think it's going to be fast enough. In the middle, Luker still trying to push back RNA's force. I don't see any more of those fire beetles anywhere, but there's a lot of tickle cannons coming online. Luker is suffering in the hit point count. He does have the advanced range upgrade. He does have shield, and he does have, of course, the speed. So he's not tanky Aeon Sniper Commander, but at least he is an Aeon Sniper Commander at a minimum. Look at this. Team 1 sniper bots with a huge host of Team 1 T2 units with a couple of T3 demolishers pushing back Team 2 essentially to the central line. And with the T2 Naval Headquarters online for Eco Noob, we see that he's going to start bombarding that position with missiles. We do see nice little strat bombers online here for Team 2's Nasimka. I don't know if they're going for the comm or they're going to go for the units, and they're going to go for something. Looks like they might be going for the sniper bots. Bomb does drop, takes out a chunk of them. There are some ASFs inbound from, not Battlefront, but Chicken, and they wipe out that strat bomber quite easily. Though, I don't know if they got many snipers. There's still a couple in that mix. Tickle cannons in range of a nice little Asylum T2 PD down here. Love those laser cannons. They don't miss very often. Again, 99.9% of the time they hit their shots. But in the southwest, look at this. There's hardly any Team D online. 5 mexes taken offline. There's still one there. And that is it. So, huge chunk of mass that Pepe's is just not getting anymore. Team 1 is barely behind Team 2 in Eco, and actually almost tying them in some instances. So again, in this case, no real team is really ahead. It's just a slight advantage. Nothing really too crazy. It's essentially you're behind maybe 1%, and 1% is not something to worry about. 20%, 30%, 50%, 200%. Obviously, some numbers in there are definitely something to be worried about. But 1 to 2%, I'll probably even say 1 to 5% is nothing to be worried about in terms of mass. Essentially, when it gets to like the 25% mark, is where you gotta go, well, we need to fix that. But of course, these players on each team don't know what the other team is producing total, so there's no way for them to actually legitimately do the math. They probably could, but that just takes way too much time. Some Hartmages go after the comm of RNA. No one has died yet, but RNA could be the first departure of the game, and he almost made it to 20 minutes, but unfortunately he did not. Team 1's RNA is the first player to be defeated. It looks like he just kind of got body blocked by his own stuff there. And the Harbor just kind of ripped him a new one. Team 2 scores the first kill of the game and is now a 5v4 in their favor. And at the same time, the frontline position for Vindex is falling, again, due to the snipers and due to the Aeon Sniper Commander of Dimitri. So Team 1 has lost one of their 2 Cypern players. They still have the Calm of Chicken that can telemaser, but now we see a huge momentum shift here for Team 2. And those Harbingers are going to continue to press. Luker, of course, has that shield. Probably would like to get that shield heavy on board before he pushes in too far. But it does look like Dimitri is going to be fine here. I think I see some Absolvers in the mix, too. Yep, there they are. Some T3 Absolvers under the control of Chicken. Probably should give those over to Dimitri. They deal with shields quite nicely. Really can't keep a shield online much due to those very, I was going to say stupid units, but very annoying units. Essentially, they're my nemesis in the shield department. A couple of strap bombers aren't enough to crack the shielding on all those asylums. So, unfortunately, both of those bombers will be shot down. I feel like they should have just gone after the Omni and been done with it at that point. Team 1 has pushed Team 2 back quite considerably, not only in the land, but in the Navy. Large group of units still holding position. Again, nothing's really happened with this. They're just sitting there shooting whatever they can. A couple of cruisers underneath bulwarks. Love to see that. We see counter bulwarks as well as a couple of destroyers. At this point, it's better to just counter with battleships, not battleships, but with destroyers, just to push in as far as they can. There actually aren't that many destroyers in this mix to begin with, so destroyers will have a better time of it, better range, all that sort of thing. They are sitting underneath the bulwark. Of course, they're constantly moving, so they don't get shot at by missiles. Definitely a smart move there. Looks like the T3 artillery is hitting the T2 naval headquarters, and it does look like those Valiant class destroyers don't like that very much and have now targeted the land units instead of the naval units, but I think that's a more immediate threat at the current moment. Team 2's force of Luker is shifting southward. Lots of laser cannons online for Pepe's. Those Uthashalas pumping out lots of plasma. Luker is forced to retreat. Again, definitely needs that shield heavy upgrade if he wants to stay there long term. Team 2 is crumbling though in the middle and in the north. And the north is fighting back a little bit better though, but now we see the raid is inbound. Lots of these Team 1 frigates going to just sacrifice themselves to take out the TMD or the headquarters or both. I feel like they hope for both. A couple of Riptides in the mix. That's going to help deal with the T2 naval units. We do see a couple of Mongoose on the shoreline trying to help out, but they don't do that much damage. They will kill a Riptide, but there's not that many units still online here for Team 2. It looks like the Riptides are just going to be enough with the frigate support to be able to deal with at least the TMD, and then the missiles can deal with the rest of that naval force. 3 TMLs, says Pepe's. Yeah, there are 3 TMLs right here. Luker looks like he's going to go for an assassination attempt, or just go after maybe an air grid. That'd be a nice grab. Team 1 has a nice little air grid here for Chicken. Stealth has been started here for Chicken's commander. He has gone on board. Team 2 has still had control of the Southern Navy essentially for the entirety of this match, besides that little bit of facility for Pepe's. I do see just a couple of air scouts sitting over here being a little bit annoying, but nice little Titan comes in and takes out at least some of those. And Team 1 has just been pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. They're almost in the main base here for Alchemical. He has done a great job of holding off the main naval threat, but those TMD are down. And unless some engineers come in to assist, this is not a great day. T2 Mex is being taken offline. Probably didn't help that that bomber struck right next to that not TMD, but that Mex, though. That probably didn't help things. Push Navy, says RNA. Maybe. I don't think Team 1 can come back in this game with Navy, though, at least on the southern side. There's so many missiles inbound, it's just going to it's going to be a mass cost or a mass sink just to get some sort of facility online, especially with this nice little flotilla of frigates and a couple of destroyers down there. And look at this, the main base assault is underway here. T2 Naval Headquarters is knocked out, so Team 1 has the Navy in the north, Team 2 has the Navy in the south. And it's just TMD rush here for Pepe's. He's playing Missile Command at this point. Just shoot as many shots as he can to deal with this cruiser spam. And it looks like no more cruisers for now. T3 has been started. He may go for summits, and that's probably due to the fact that he wants the extra range versus the battle cruisers. I don't think Team 1 is going to try to make an attempt in Navy at this point down there, so summits would be the better choice in that regard. Lots of units inbound from Luca to assist the middle here. Team 1 bombers overhead. They're just trying to soften them up. But there are some sniper bots here. Looks like they're trying to go after Dimitri's commander, who is fleeing. His shield is offline. Well, it's not technically offline. It's just recharging. So yes and no. Harbinger's trying to come into range. There is a large group of asylums in here with a decent amount of Harbinger assist. And there is some support still up to the north with those Absolvers. I keep thinking for some reason this is Team 2's army, but that's Team 1's. Colossus is online. So again, only one casualty so far in this game. 25 minutes on the clock here. Team 1 has lost RNA. It is a 4v5 game. Strat bombers are gearing up for an attack. Looks like they're going for Pepe's position. So it could be a 3v5 here shortly. Mass income tied 1.1, 1.1. Let me know down in the comments who you think is going to currently win this game. Of course, if you haven't done so already, like the video and subscribe to the channel as bombers strike this position for Pepe's. TMD and PD taken out in a huge clump. And that will soften up defenses here for Pepe's. He might actually retreat because of this. But like I said, let me know down in the comments. Air fight. Nope, doesn't occur. Just as of yet, T3 land facility is under fire from all this cruiser spam. And it looks like they focused targets somewhere else. They probably could have taken out that headquarters had they focused on it. But it looks like they want the commander itself and not just the headquarters that he has built. Lots of sniper bots though for Pepe, so any sort of land incursion will be met with heavy casualties on its way there. T3 Navy is done. He is going for the summits, 53% already there. T3 coming online for his comm. He has the shield on board as well, the personal shield, so 19,000 additional hit points. No veterancy, but it still adds up to 33,000 hit points. It is a chunk. And now there is a huge push in the land situation to go for Navy, but again, lots of frigates, decent amount of cruisers, couple of couple of destroyers. I don't know why I keep saying the wrong word for destroyers this game. Lots of units being shifted southward. Looks like he might do a run by via the beachhead. It looks like the TMD is not as strong on this eastern side, so missiles are slowly eating their way in. You can see it's just a light show at this point. Lots of fireworks. Not the good kind of fireworks, the bad kind of fireworks, where stuff gets blown up if they land, versus the very pretty explosions in the air. In the north, huge collaboration here between Dimitri and EcoNoob to go after Alchemical's position. We do see that Colossus in the mix is the main driver for this attack. Couple of Autumns, couple of Harbingers, couple of Ravagers. That Colossus might just be a nice little mass donation. If Team 1 doesn't get a lot of damage done to Team 2's side, it is not going to be great. Dimitri is holding position right here. He's not engaging. It's definitely a smart move because he would be overwhelmed with all this firepower. There are still some Harbingers here, but that Colossus is dead meat. And now the attack will now be pushed back. Team 1 has suffered a decent amount of loss here. Team 2 has as well in the land units, and infrastructure not as much. The Navy has been rebuilt. T2 Naval Headquarters back online. Alchemical still has that bubble shield. Would love for him to transition into the personal one. But hey, it's better than nothing. Dimitri might be enough to hold off this group of Autumns. Of course, when he overcharges, he wipes them out entirely. So nothing really too critical. He gets a double kill with that group. So Team 2 is going to hold back for now. Air grid being expanded upon by Nasimka, and he is segmenting it out. Love to see that. So no huge cascade, catastrophic destruction here for Team 2's air player. I think that's the only air player so far. That's land facility. Yeah, only one air player for Team 2, and one air player for Team 2, one air player for Team 1. It does look like the naval facility knocked out again for Team 2. And Alchemical just cannot catch a break in the Navy. Drop bomber trying to help out. There's not that many actual naval units. The more the pseudo-navy riptides for EcoNoob. EcoNoob, are you building anything in the background? SMD's online and FAF Warriors coming online here shortly. Nothing big up there. Another Colossus coming online here for Dimitri. He might have another one here in the middle, which he does not. Crab has been started here for Chicken. Still won't produce his own chickens. Chicken has been started for Pepe's. And nothing down in the south. Land invasion has occurred by the Percy threat. And that is not going to be a good day here for Pepe's infrastructure. There are a decent amount of Yenzing moving in to intercept. And I will say this, the Percys, they're great at taking out a lot of big ticket items. When it comes to small ticket items, they're not as effective. Titans would actually be better in this mix just due to the fire rate on board. Again, but Percys do one-shot stuff. a lot of Team 1, T2, and some T3 units. But again, in this mix of just a lot of stuff shooting at the Perseus, they're just essentially overwhelmed. And the slow fire rate on board the Perseus just doesn't help the situation. You can see they were deterred. And that T3 battleship is online, bombarding the position for Pepe. It looks like it took out a shield emplacement, but it got instantly rebuilt. At least that's what it looked like. Another shot is inbound. Missiles still coming in. It does look like the Perseus have somewhat survived, but their numbers are essentially cut in half at this point. And it's just the slow erosion on the south. Colossus online for Luker. Colossus online for Team 1's Dimitri. Fat Boy online here for Team 2's Alchemical. Second one coming online here shortly. That's going to help out with the Navy. At least secure most of it for the time being. He's really just been back and forth in that pawn. Whaler is online here for Nasimka. Pings do go down from Team 2, I presume, going after the Colossus, which they see in Vindex is in full retreat. Optims are going to provide a nice little retreat here for him to get back. Nice little, not scapegoat, but just firing line, holding the line. I don't know what you would call that. Essentially providing for the retreat of the comp. I know there's a word for it. I just cannot think of that word is. Essentially, it's a tactical move where you set up a, some distance between you and the thing you're targeting, you're protecting, and then you just slowly push back with them to essentially give some breathing room for that unit, that whatever, to escape. But Vindex does not continue to go east. Instead, he's going to get lasered by the Colossus, and he has a lot of hit points, 40,000. He's getting booped by his own units, though, and that Colossus doesn't keep moving with the comm's retreat. And unfortunately, I think that comm might actually get out of range and stay there. Gunships are inbound. They might be going for Dimitri's commander, but they are inbound for the Colossus specifically. And they go, no. We're going to go for that comm instead. They keep wanting to decide what they want to do. There's a couple of bouncers in the mix, which they'll deal with quite easily. ASF are inbound. Airfight will occur over the top of Dimitri's position. There is some AA in the mix for Team 1. And, of course, the Whalers do have some AA of their own. Not as good as Restorers, but they do have some. And that is a kind of a tie situation. Oh, it's pretty close. I feel like both players lost a lot of ASFs in that mix. Essentially, looks like Nasimka will win out, but not a huge amount more. About 50. I mean, that's air dominance territory, but there's a lot of wrecks down there. And of course, there's another Colossus inbound from Team 1. And Vindex, he should see him, and he's continuing to push in. Would not recommend. He lost half of his hit points in that first engagement. We do see the cruiser, of course, trying to sit out of range of the Fat Boy. Team 1 has now just said, no more Navy. Go away. And that is what has now happened. Second Fat Boy is online, though, for Alchemical. Is he going for another one? Is he going for satellite? He's going for E-storages. He probably needs more power for something. A-Rash started here for Luker. Chicken over here with a chicken. So there's a chicken and a chicken. Looks like the chicken tried to go for the summits, but they fell back out of range of the chicken and are now bombarding said chicken for its arrogance to attack naval units. At least that far away. There is an attempt down the middle to skate by, but unfortunately those brick walls are running into some Oblivion PD and some Miasma, as well as a Fat Boy and a Colossus. Colossus goes, no. You didn't say the magic word. Whalers are inbound to assist, I would presume. Looks like a lot of focus from Team 1's northern side is in that alchemical direction. 2 Colossus online. That one badly damaged. I feel like that one should just be Control-K'd, reclaim it, and rebuild another one at that point. Brick's trying to help. I don't know why they went that way. They could have just gone that way and avoided the mess here from Team 2, but wanted to run by it. Possibly were trying to go right down at a diagonal angle, but just couldn't get anything to happen. ASF fight will happen once again. Team 2 is just taking them at this point. Wants to deter any sort of action on Team 1's part. And with some more AA now built, that ASF group is not as confident as they once were. They once were. Yeah, they once were. Yeah. I can English, I promise. 4th summit is online. I will give it to Pepe's. He's keeping those summits pretty well at bay, but as I said, of course, I kind of jinxed him. And there goes his land facility. 33 minutes on the clock here. No one has died except for RNA, so at least in terms of people staying alive, no one is just being wiped out at this point. RNA still helping his team out with some pings and whatnot. Is anybody going to go for artillery? No, they're going to go for a nuke. Love to see it. It is the Liberator. And I kind of like that name because it is liberating souls and mass and energy and whatnot from the hands of your enemies. 1, 2, 3, 4 Colossi. Again, 1 badly damaged, so 3 and a little bit. Team 2 has 1 Colossus, not even a Colossi. And nothing else except the 2 fat boys? 1 fat boy? 2 fat boys. The other one's over there. 2 fat boys online here for Eco. 3 fat boys online here for Eco. 4th one online here shortly. Still no bigger ticket items here for Team 1. T3 Summit coming online here for Eco Noob. So again, it's just going to be a mirror image of the South versus the North in that regard. And the PD, the TMD, the shields, they are trying to hold. There's 5 summits here. There's a lot of firepower. How is Peppers' power doing? Not great. Not great. He loses a P-gen or 2. That is a dead base. Chicken is over here with a nice little cloak and a laser and a gun. I just don't think he'll get much work with that. I thought I heard an explosion. It was not, so we're good. And that horde of units is looking very, very dangerous here for Team 2. Another Colossus is inbound. The longer this goes on, the danger it is for Team 1 and Team 2, because for Team 2 side of things, more units equals more stuff to deal with. The downside, though, is the longer Team 1 waits, that gives Team 2 more time to prepare, which could be the downside. Usually in the defense versus attack, if things are a little bit in favor of the opposing team, usually the defense wins, because in terms of PD, in terms of unit count kind of thing. But if it's obviously an overwhelming attack, obviously the offense wins. If it's an overwhelming defense, obviously the defense wins. But we could see an attempt to snipe a couple of Fat Boys. Corsairs inbound to assist the Whalers. Whalers, again, do have AA. The Corsairs go to engage, but they actually get called back. ASF's inbound from Nasimka. I feel like he doesn't want to lose the majority of those forces, so he just calls them back anyways. And again, I don't blame him there. T2 torp launchers try to establish a foothold, or a water hold in this case, in the water situation. Couple of broadswords, but there's a lot of flak, and those gunships are not going to have a good time. Pepe saying, "I'm dead." When he had nothing, I am. He killed me. Oh, I don't. Where is he? Oh, he's over here. So he's not dead, but his base is. It's not terrible. He did lose a P-gen. He is keeping the shields on. He's keeping the lights on. There is a Fat Boy down here, though. That's not helping the situation at all. And as of note, of course, there is a nice little air scout on top. Are you feeling kind of hanging out? So nice little advantage to the Fat Boy. I think he's the only experimental, at least the land situation, that can actually have units land on board. I think so. I don't know if the Donut has that same ability, or the Atlantis. I think that might be actually unique to the Fat Boy, is the air staging, built-in facility. Just a couple of spots, nothing too big. He's producing some Cougars on his back, so love to see the AA be spammed up as well. That is, I think, one of the best things to produce with the Fat Boy is, regardless if it's T3 or T2, just constant flak in T3 AA. And shields, those are always nice, but leave the Perseus, leave the Titans to land facilities. Nuke is outbound for the first time in the game. Now, this could be the very crucial thing. If it doesn't take out a huge chunk of Team 2's power one way or the other, it's not a great scenario. But Team 2 is being targeted in the northeast. Alchemical is probably not going to feel good. There is an SMD for Nasimka, so if that nuke barely grazes that ring, it will get taken out. Nuke does not end up grazing it, but no, it actually does anyways. And that was what? No, yeah, that is what took it out. It looked like it actually got away with it, but maybe not. Lots of tactical missile launchers online here for Dimitri. He might be targeting that SMD. They probably would be ranged at that point. Oh yeah, definitely in range of whatever, essentially. And Team 2 is under constant threat. 4 Fat Boys online. Looking like critical amounts of Fat Boys here for Eco Noob. He could just run over Team 2 at this point. if he so chose to do so. There is a couple of artillery emplacements, but there's a lot of artillery pressure. And then that would have definitely helped, of course, solidify Team 1's attack. And essentially knocked out Alchemico and then just hooked south and just took everything else down here. Because this looks like all structures, but those are units. These are the structures. Just kind of merged in with all the everything. There is some artillery in range, and that Fat Boy is not feeling super good. And it's just one of those things where does Team 1 risk the artillery strikes? Oh, that's a dead Fat Boy. There goes one of them. Nice job from Team 2 with that artillery. Again, that is the downside with Fat Boys, is once their shields are gone, they're kind of weak. Cruisers and some summits up here for Team 1. It's just essentially the same story down south. Lots of yellow dots just sailing around the map. And we're not seeing a lot of pressure on land. It's mainly coming from the Navy. Team 1's Pepes is still holding on. His shields are falling just every so often. And they pop back online, they pop offline, they pop back online. It's just very hard for the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 summits to break through the shielding. I think number 6 would have been enough to send them over the edge. But there are some interesting developments. So Team 2 is not going for stationary nukes, but for mobile nukes. Of course, the downside with that is they're a smaller range. But again, it is a mobile nuke. And in a map this size, that mobile nuke can pretty much take out, I'd say, at least the bottom half of Team 1's base. There should be an SMD built here. Is there no SMD? Oh, no, it's right there. It's right there. Okay, I was going to say no SMD anywhere. And Alchemical control Ks. So I don't call that a kill. Of course, I think he had to go. I don't know if there was an exact reason or not. Doesn't look like he had to be kicked or anything. It's over, says Alchemical. Oh, so maybe it do something with this. So it looks like he just kind of gifted everything over. He was kind of done with the match. So that is the first departure for Team 2. I don't count that as a kill. That is a departure, regardless if it is by choice or by external situations. I mean, he wasn't under fire. He wasn't next to some pigeons and he blew up kind of thing. He walked away from all of his base and then control K'd. That is a deliberate decision. And Fat Boy is taken out by the summit. Second Fat Boy also taken out. And it looks like the shielding is collapsing here for Nasimka. Another nuke is up, and it is going to target Alchemical's base. I think he went a little bit more north on that regard. The SMD has not... Oh, it has reloaded. So that is something. But the second nuke of the game might be the first landing. I think he went a little bit further north with it. But there's a nuke inbound here from Team 2's subs, and Chicken almost wiped out by the nuke. That's, I think, the second time back-to-back that he almost got killed there. There goes the nuke. Oh, it's going to land. Kaboom! And then, oh, sorry. Kaboom! Both really good kabooms, essentially on the same base position. Nice little mirror there. And that is a great, great wipeout. Team 2 loses a chunk of mass. Team 1 loses a chunk of mass. It's 1.9 versus 1.7. Colossus in range of some interesting nothingness here from Team 2. It looked like Team 2 was targeting the Colossus. It was just the remnant shots inbound from the cruisers. Chicken has been defeated finally. I think Team 2's finally just breathing a sigh of relief because of that nonsense. There are 2 crabs escorting the Chicken, and Peppers is over here. He's still in the game. Has not left yet. His nuke here for Chicken killed off 111,000 mass, so very, very good nuke. Even if you take into account the second nuke, I think it was 2 nukes to get the 1 kill. Still very, very good. Very good average. 55. It's really good. It's really, really good nukes. But again, it's the same situation happening in the south. The return on investment for the Navy, that's as far as the summits can hit. We do see some gunships inbound for the Colossus. Looks like it tries to go all the way into the water. That is not the thing I wanted to do. There we go. In the north, again, it's the same situation. Just return on investment is not going super great. It did its initial payoff, but after that, not a whole lot. Oh my goodness. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Is that 9? I count. No, it's 8. Okay. For some reason I was counting 9. I think I counted 1. Yeah, because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yeah, 8. 8 Colossi in the middle of the map here for Team 1. Team 2 has 3 and 2 chickens. 4 and 2 chickens. Artillery inbound from Team 1. And that is that Duke that was being built by Eco. Second one has been started. Team 2 needs to make a move, or there's not going to be much left here for Team 2. The air grid is the target. So while Team 2 had some air control, it's not going to last much longer. And if Team 2 attacks, Team 1's going to win that. If Team 1 attacks, it depends. It depends. Satellite has been started here by Battlefront. He's already built one. We do see that Luca's in some nice little protective bubble down there. And no big ticket items here for Team 2 besides just a couple of satellites. And that in and of itself is not a big ticket item. Colossus gets defeated, it looks like. It was over there. They tried to push in. Looks like Corsairs are inbound and gunships as well. That's the target, is the air grid. And Pepe's is sitting right there, but Whalers ripping apart all of the air grid. There's still a chunk up there. Team 1's chicken really spammed out the air grid for sure. ASF still alive here for Team 2. Where did that Colossus go? And it must have been taken out because I don't see it anymore. Oh, yeah, it's right there. Look at that. Just can't even see it. Just saw his feet. And it looks like that's just not enough. They didn't even get the nuke. Very unfortunate here for Team 2. They didn't grab the nuke. That would have given Team 2 a little bit more time. But 1, 2, 3 Fat Boys up to the north. The Colossi still have not moved. They're kind of shuffling their boots and whatnot, but not really doing a whole lot. Hey, look, the one that was damaged a long time ago is now up into the yellow, so that's something, I guess. Chicken's comms down here, perfectly fine, almost back up to full HP. 3 Fat Boys down here, and again, it's going to be a close race. Essentially, whoever can wipe out the middle of the map, so for Team 1, that's Chicken's base, and for Team 2, that's the Simca/Vindix base. Once that happens, that's not necessarily a game, but there are 2 artilleries here for Team 1. Third one coming online for Eco Noob, and he's targeting these satellites, it looks like, for Battlefront. So again, the mirrors are targeting one another. I just don't see any. Team 2 just doesn't have, I think, enough to hold off Team 1. 3 Fat Boys up there, constant summit pressure. The Colossi are moving in. Team 2, are you sending them in? Yes, you are. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh my goodness, there's more than I thought. Will they or won't they at this point? There's more of them inbound. Huge groups of experimentals in this game. And will they even engage one another? Maybe, maybe not, but they are waiting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 versus 8. So that will put Team 2 ahead, and there's a lot of firepower. Even if you just send the chickens full send and even control K them in the middle, that would be devastating amounts of damage to those Colossi and other T3 units. Vindix builds another chicken. That's number 4, unless he built a YOLO, which would probably actually be a lot better at this point for the everything. Where is that new chicken? Maybe he built it. No. Oh, everything got transferred over to Vindix. Okay. That makes way more sense. Fat Boys have pushed in and have actually taken out a chunk of the southern side. Nothing will remain down there for much longer. There is a crab, but that's not going to do a whole lot. Looks like the 2 crabs over here got wiped out by the summits. The summits have moved as far forward as they can. The nuke is inbound once again. And where is it coming from? Is it from the central one? It's from this position, and that's going to target this. The Colossi are in full retreat. Do not send the units in. At least don't send them in that far. And that is going to open a door for Team 2 to engage. They will probably clip maybe 1 or 2 of those Colossi. Nothing too dangerous. But here it comes. Kaboom! Nice grab by that ace. Nice snipe there. There's also a second one. 149,000 damage with that one ace. So lots of damage done. It has opened a door for Team 2 to engage. And are they just going to full send it? They have to at this point. 3 artillery about to come online. That will be devastating amounts of damage on Team 2. They've lost the air. There's not much there. They have a couple of, well, they had a couple of satellites, but that didn't happen. Trap, says Chicken. Strategic launch. Another nuke is outbound. This time it's from the other ace. And it's weird how you can move it and then you can fire and then move at the same time, essentially. And it's inbound to the west. It's going to go after Chicken's comm. Chicken is going to move. The crab is down. The Fat Boys are down because they got sniped by Chicken's commander. I don't know if the nuke will land. It's going to be close. He might actually still be in range. Oh, he got singed a little bit. Nothing too bad. I think if it was a regular nuke, he would have died. But that attack is inbound. Here it comes, the big heavyweight fight here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, no. Oh, I did my math wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But it's all Colossi versus Chicken and Colossi. Got to send the attack in at some point because it is not going to be enough a lot of time. Again, if you take out the artillery and the nuke, that's going to be enough. And at this point, you got to send it if the... there's not a lot of travel time for that nuke. It's gonna get a couple of those experimentals, at least the chickens. Ooh, that's not great here for Team 2. There goes one. There goes 2 chickens. Ooh, rough. And, of course, a lot of hit points gone off of those Colossi as well. Ooh, devastating. Very, very devastating. And now they're going to get 1 of them, 2 of them, and probably 3 of them because they're EMP'd. It's not great here for Team 2. That counter nuke from Chicken definitely saved Team 1's bacon there. 237,000 mass kill with that nuke launcher. If that set of SMDs go down, I think those aces are in range. 151,000 mass, 0 mass. Team 2 has lost the northeastern side. Team 1 has lost the southwestern side. They are starting to get it back, though, because the Fat Boys are gone. And, of course, the battleships aren't really equipped to deal with small targets. There are some Titans, though. Those are equipped to deal with that. There's a lot of... Oh, there's 1 SMD loaded. 0 S. So there's only 1 SMD so far that's actually loaded. It only has 1. T3 artillery raining down now on Luker's base. Team 2 is running out of time. Team 1 has the advantage in long-range artillery, quite literally, and a donut soon to come online. Number 4 has been started here by Eco Noob, so he's just going to be pumping those things out till he can't pump out no more. Novax finished, says Pepe's, but it's only 1 Novax versus the 3 possible 4 artillery pieces. And there's not enough shielding, in my opinion, to really protect Battlefront's base. So, I mean, yeah, you can see, look at that. Most of it already collapsed, essentially immediately. And there's more artillery pieces coming online. Team 2's Luca control Ks. He's seeing that the game is essentially over. And now it is a 4v3. And Team 2's Vindex control Ks as well. And it is going to be a 4v2. So the game goes from a tie game to a 4v2. AFK says Nasimka. Talking about Battlefront. GG says Eco Noob. The attack will commence. There's a donut in the mix. Just got to send those chickens forward. Don't keep them standing there. They're better essentially dead at this point with their ion damage. There's not that many Colossi remaining here for Team 2, so got to send them in. That chicken doesn't get anywhere at this point. That chicken doesn't stop. No, it's going to keep going. It's going to get booped a little bit on the way. But look at that laser focus here from all those Colossi. There is a nuke inbound. There is a donut overhead as well. And that nuke is actually inbound from the Ace from Battlefront. Ion Storm does activate. Team D being wiped out. PD being wiped out. Will the nuke make it in time to really do anything devastating? Nuke. Oh, there it is. Speaking of which, it is going to land. And it's going to hit at least 3 or 4 of them. It hits 1 of them. 2 of them. Singes another one. But with the donut overhead, not much that Team 2 can do. Gunships are inbound. It's just going to be a clean swipe. Nothing really else big going on. Nasimka's up here. He's gifted essentially everything over to Battlefront. Not gifted, but Battlefront has control over everything at this point. Bug is inbound. Haven't seen one of those in a while. Chicken builds another experimental. Another bug. Missiles are inbound. Not enough. Nope, they all get taken out before they hit the SMDs. There's actually 2 of them right here and an additional one there. So, again, really that was definitely a loss for Team 2. Had they kept those Fat Boys online, it probably would have been a different story. Donut over the top of another SMD. And this game is just crumbling for Team 2 at this point. There goes Team 2's Battlefront. Control K's everything. And leaving the Simca remaining, and he just gets out of there. And that is the game here, folks. Team 1's MVP. Honestly, I don't really have one player. I will point out, though, Pepe's holding out as long as he did in the bombardment from missiles, from artillery, from the summits, everything like that. He did a very good job. Obviously, the nuke wiped out everything else, but he did a very good job holding for as long as he did, so I want to shout him out. So he did a very good job. Definitely a MUP, most underrated player. Boy, don't give many of those out anymore. Maybe I'll bring that back. But in terms of MVP, I don't want to say the artillery was the main stage appearance, because, yeah, it did help, but it wasn't the thing that really drove Team 2 to their graves. Obviously, the taking of the Navy up to the north, that was very useful, but again, Team 2 did that as well. Essentially, it was a very, very mirrored image here between these two teams, but I think the straw that broke the camel's back was that nuke that came in from Chicken. So I think that single nuke, 240,000 damage, definitely paid for itself. And again, took out a couple of experimentals and then a couple more with the incoming ones from Dimitri, and then it was just send him and call it a day. So Chicken, he gets a little bit of an MVP for me, and the fact that also he survived the nuke, just barely, but he survived the nuke, so that also have some props there to them. Again, thanks so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you haven't done so already, like the video and subscribe to the channel, and I will see all of you in the next one.